Hello students, in this video we are going to see about serial peripheral interface, that is SPI bus. This SPI bus is a simple bus which connects single master with multiple slaves. So in case of the systems where we will be using the main microcontroller and the external peripherals, mainly the SPA, that is the serial peripheral interface buses, are going to be commonly used. Normally, this serial peripheral interface buses are full duplex in nature, that is, they will be using the transmission and the reception at the same time. So, this bus is going to be used for sending data between microcontrollers and the small peripherals. This bus is developed by Motorola during 1980s. Since then, the SPI bus is a major, very important and robust and simple bus system. This bus system uses separate clock and data lines along with a select line that is to be used to choose the device which the microcontroller wants to talk. So this bus having common four signals, namely MOSI, that is master out slave in, MISO master in slave out, serial clock, and the chip select, or it can be said as a slave select. So these four signals are main common signals for SPI ICs and the SPI bus systems. This slide says a common hardware for a serial peripheral interface bus. Here we will be having a master and a slave. For each device which uses the serial peripheral interface having its own latch and the shift register system. This latch and the shift register will be supplied with the common clock. So whenever particular master wants to send a data to a slave, means it will be using MOSI, that is the master out slave in pin. So this master out slave in pin is connected with the queue of the latch which is present in the master. So that will be connected to the shift register in the slave. So that connection will be terminated in LSB of the shift register. So after getting the data from the master, the data will be shifted towards this particular shift register and it will be latched in order to having the process to be done inside the slave. So if a slave wants to send data, then the same shift register and the latch system is going to be used. So the shifted data will be stored temporarily in the latch. So this latch data will be released by the slave when the appropriate clock is given. So this clock is the common for master and the slave. The synchronization of the clock is done only by the master. So this particular transaction between this MOSI, that is the data from the master to the slave and the data from slave to the master, is controlled by this particular clock signal and also using the slave select. Since SPI is going to be used for single master and multi-slave systems, this slave select pin is going to be act as an address selector without using any of the decoder logic. So this particular slide will be telling the numbers of modes, namely mode 0, mode 1, mode 2 and mode 3. So the common difference between these modes are going to be dictated by two parameters, C pole and CPHA, that is clock polarity and the clock phase. So what does it mean by clock polarity and the clock phase is that the polarity of the clock, whichever the clock is being generated by the master, will be having positive polarity. If that particular clock wants to be inverted, then that clock is called as inverted clock. So these two polarities are being used in the SPI systems, and the clock phase will be dominated by the lagging phase of a particular clock. So this we will be seeing in this particular slide. You can notice that mode 0 is going to be, the clock polarity is going to be 0 and the clock phase will be going to be 0. So this particular mode will be having the clock to be used as such. It is being generated by the oscillator circuit in the master. So that is going to be the first mode, that is mode 0. Mode 1 will be the clock polarity is going to be 0, but the phase of the clock will be inverted. Since the phase of the clock is going to be inverted, then this particular clock will be shifted by 180 degree. So this shift is been only insisted in this particular diagram with respect to this particular clock. Also, you can notice the shift in the particular clock is only lagging in nature. And this third mode is going to be the mode 2. The clock polarity is going to be inverted, but the clock phase is going to be the same as that of the first one. So we can draw the particular waveform of this particular mode as the inverted clock signal of the mode 0. So we can draw that particular clock pulse waveform as the inverted waveform of the mode number 0. And the mode number 3 is going to be the clock polarity is going to be 1 and the clock phase is going to be 1. Since we have drawn the clock polarity 1 and the clock phase is going to be 0 as the mode 2, we can shift this particular mode from as 180 degree lagging so that we can draw this particular waveform. So the data is going to be synchronized with the each and every rising and the falling edge of the clock, so that we will be having the data to be synchronized between the different modes, but the data is going to be varied with the type of mode we will be using. So we can use the hardware of the device as the either as an positive edge triggered or the negative edge triggered or the level triggered latches or the shift registers. Normally the shift registers are going to be negative edge triggered only, but the latches can be negative edge triggered or the level triggered latches. So depends upon the latches and the serial shift registers whichever you are using those particular methods, we can choose the mode whichever we wants to work on. So the next is going to be a very important one, the multi-slave configuration. So here we will be having a master. In this particular master we will be having MOSI, that is the master output slave input and master input slave output, and we will be connecting this master to the multiple slaves. So these slaves are going to be connected with their respective MOSI or MISO pins and also the clock signals. This clock and the MISO, MOSI are going to be common for the master and the slave devices, but the slave select pin is going to be different in this particular configuration. The master will be having each and having the slave select pin for each and every slaves which have been connected itself. So the first slave will be selected with the slave select 1, and the second slave will be selected with the slave select 2, and the third, and goes so on. So whenever the particular chip select pin or the slave select pin is going to be the active low, so that particular slave will be selected according to the pin we are choosing. So this type of configuration is very common for the computer based or the microcontroller based SPA configuration controllers. So this is going to be a very common in nature. The next configuration is going to be the daisy chain configuration. The main difference between the multi-slave configuration and the daisy chain configuration is that the master need not to have any chip select pin as far as the numbers of slaves are being concerned. Since in the previous configuration, if you have 10 slaves means we need to have 10 slave select pins, but here we don't need those amount of slave select pins. We may need only one slave select pin or the chip select pin and the clock signal, and also the MOSA and the MISO pins. Here the configuration is coming like this. The clock signals are going to be connected as common as of the previous one also, and the chip select is going to also common, but the chip select is going to be commonly connected to the all the slaves from the single chip select pin, and the MOSI is going to be connected for the first slave, and the first slave's MISO is being connected to the second slave's MOSI, and the second slave's MISO is going to be connected to the third slave's MOSI, and it goes so on. So if the master wants to transmit 3 bytes of data to the SPI bus, then the first byte of data is being shifted to the slave number 1. Now if the master shifts the second byte of the data, so in order to shift that particular data to the slave number 1, the previous data which has been sent in the first clock signal is stored inside this particular slave 1, is being transmitted to the slave number 2 through the MISO pin of the slave number 1 to the MOSI pin of the slave number 2. So if the master sends the third data, then the second data is going to be transmitted to the slave number 2. So the first data is going to be transmitted to the slave number 3. So as such, the data is going to be shifted from the slave, one of the slave to the other slaves. So this type of configuration is common whenever we are having the cyclic data redundancy is required. So this kind of configuration is going to be used as a daisy chain configuration. The last slide is going to be going to say about the advantages and the disadvantages. Advantages of a SPI system is SPI is very simple to implement, and the hardware requires not complex, and it supports the full duplex communication, and the data transfer is going to be very high speed. So since the slaves are going to be connected through the chip select pin, so no need for the individual addresses for the slaves, and the only one master device is supported, and hence there is no chance of conflicts, because the traffic of the particular data is being used inside the particular any of the medium if the master is going to be in greater number. Then in this particular SPA, since we are having only one master, we don't require to worry about the chance of conflicts. The clock from the master is configured based on the speed of the slave, and hence slave doesn't worry about the clock. So the clock is going to be control of the master, so slave don't have to worry about the clock. And in case of the disadvantages, each additional slave requires an additional dedicated pins for the master. So this will make the master to be bulkier. There is no acknowledgement mechanism, and hence there is no confirmation of the receipt of the data. But this particular disadvantage may be discarded because the acknowledgement mechanism is not being required for a serial peripheral interface, because we don't have to transmit any data to be in the longer or the any rugged situations. Normally the serial peripheral interface are going to be used in a closed and the very compact situations only, and also the number of devices are also been reduced, or it can be limited, so that this particular disadvantage may be neglected. This slowest device determines the speed of the transfer. So this is going to be a big disadvantage in case of a serial peripheral interface, because the speed of the device is going to be speed of the system is going to be determined by the very slowest device in the system. So there is no official standard for this particular serial peripheral interface. So we can use this particular any of the application specific implementations. So we cannot generalize this particular protocol to the others, and there is no flow control is going to be another disadvantage. Thank you.